Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. Tonight's show, if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would know is a hopeful one, because the title of tonight's show is It Begins. Now, I'm not too sure what it is, but I do have a couple of ideas that I'll throw out to you. But the reason why I'm saying that there may be something coming up in your life in the next week when someone could be saying to you, start your engines. And the idea of starting something, or beginning something, or finally getting something underway, perhaps even that you've been waiting for a long time, that is certainly possible. And the reason why is that we have 9 of the 10 planets, which are all direct now. There's only one retrograde planet now, and that's Uranus in Taurus. But everything else is direct, and that always speeds things up. And on top of that, Mars, which is in Aries, and it rules that sign, is at the 19th degree of Aries, and it is precisely trining the Sun today at 19 degrees of Sagittarius. And Mercury is in Sagittarius as well. Those 3 planets are also trining the sign of Leo. So the fire signs can be all ready to go, and that's why I think it begins right about now. And if somebody is urging you to start your engines, maybe they're right. Maybe you should give that a try. Because when we reduce numbers, we get their true meaning. And so Mars is at 19 degrees, and the Sun is at 19 degrees, and 19 is a number that reduces to 10, because we reduce numbers by adding digits. So 1 plus 9 equals 10, but that's still a double-digit number. So we reduce it again. 1 plus 0 equals 1. 1 is the number of Aries. And Mars is there in its own sign, and it's direct right now, and it is emboldened because it is trining the Sun also at that same 19th degree. So it simply means that there could be a new beginning that you could sort of finally get underway. And you could have been waiting a long time for that. Now, would it involve any old new beginning? No, I think it's going to involve something that has more to do with Sagittarius than with Aries. I think you can get the energy from that dynamic Mars that's trining the Sun in Sagittarius. But next week we're having a solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and there will be more to follow in 2021. So I think that when it begins, has something to do with the things that Sagittarius rules. And Sagittarius rules the traditional 9th house of the higher mind. It's an intellectual sign, and it's ruled by Jupiter. So it rules long-distance travel and foreign countries, and it rules higher education and graduate schools and professional schools. It also rules the whole judicial system throughout the world, so it rules the courts, and it rules all foreign countries and large international organizations such as the United Nations or the World Bank or even the World Court. And above all of that, Sagittarius rules religion, and it rules philosophy. What it really rules, since Jupiter, that planet of benevolence, is its ruler, is Sagittarius really rules doing the right thing for the greater good of all. And maybe that's what's about to begin. And yet it still would require many of us to sort of start our engines and get in gear right now. And the reason why it could be something that is for the greater good is because we're seeing that the pandemic, even if it is reaching a certain crescendo right now that can be somewhat alarming, at the same time, the vaccines are coming to the marketplace. And that would involve all of us having to follow through and do something about getting a vaccine, or at least finding out about it. And that is what could begin, because those vaccines are going to go worldwide. It's a worldwide program. So in that instance, it can begin, but it's something that is doing the right thing for the greater good, which would be great. However, there are other little problems that could stand in your way. And one of them is that the sun today, remember, we're going to have a solar eclipse in Sagittarius coming up soon, but right now the sun at 19 degrees of Sagittarius is exactly conjunct the unlucky south node of the moon. That's too bad. That can indicate a dour, critical enemy that does not want something to happen for the greater good, and in fact they could have a hidden agenda, such as wanting something to fail so that they could exert their power or their pressure and not lose it. In other words, solving a problem may not work out for them. Maybe they want something to fail so that they can stay in control. So that south node of the moon conjuncting the sun, that means you got to watch out for somebody who is not really having your best interests in mind. So you have to keep your guard up on that. And then there are still 5 planets in a harsh T-cross among the cardinal signs, and that means that the moon in Libra, which is the sign of the law and peace and partnership, is being strongly opposed by that aggressive Mars in Aries, and together those 2 planets are all being squared by Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn in Capricorn. And Pluto and Saturn are very close together. They're conjuncting within their orbits, so they're lining up. They're in alignment. And that simply means that as Saturn gets to the end of its stay in Capricorn, it's reaching the 29th degree of fate. And this planet and the others, Jupiter and Pluto, have been beautifully fortified all year long by a trine from Uranus and Taurus. I mean, they have a lot of backup. And so it simply means that there are people around that may, in this harsh T-cross, that may want to continue a lot of bickering right now. And we've had this T-cross in cardinal signs all summer long. And so people are sort of sparring and trying to gain ground or one up other people, and nothing is getting accomplished. So what's the purpose of all that bickering? It may be to cloud the truth. There may be a lot of truth that's clouded, or there may be layers of disinformation that may be coming out right about now. But there are people that, as long as they're bickering and shouting and fighting, you don't have time to assess the truth or do something about it. And that's their intention. So that isn't too good either. And then the third thing that can sort of get in your way right now is that there can be some uncertainty about financial conditions, and that is because Venus is in Scorpio, one fixed financial sign, and it is opposing Uranus in Taurus, the other fixed financial sign. So at any time there can be questions arising now, and those questions could be, who is going to pay for what? Or where's the money going to come from? A lot of people are going to be asking that. But even if they are bickering, and even if they are asking a lot of questions, it begins anyway. So start your engines. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. This is tailor-made for you, Aries. I think you're going to begin something, Aries, and I think you've got your engines all revved up and ready to go. And that's because Mars is so well placed in your sign. It's at that 19th degree, which reduces to 1, the number that rules your sign, Aries. So I would say that you are probably thinking that you want to be in control of something, or you want to get your way on something right now, and you're pretty determined about that. And I'm telling you that you could be very successful as long as you were trying to do something for the greater good, or as long as you're trying to do the right thing for as many people as possible, which would be living up to the highest ideals of Sagittarius. Then it looks to me like you could be successful. Maybe not right away, but in the end you could be successful. So I wish you the best of luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, There can be financial uncertainty right now because people love spending money, but you got to make it first. And of course, you know that because yours is a practical earth sign, and your sign has benefited all year from the trine of the 3 planets in Capricorn, trining Uranus in your sign. That is going to change as early as next week, actually, after the solar eclipse, because both Saturn and Jupiter are going to move into Aquarius. They'll leave Capricorn, and then you'll just have Pluto trining your sun. That's a good planet to have trining your sun, but it means that you're going to be losing some support. And with that Venus, your own ruler, opposing your sun sign right now, Taurus, I think that you need to rethink your financial goals. And it isn't that you don't have money, it's that you could be counting on some types of income coming in that may not necessarily be available in the coming year. And all I'm saying is you really need to check the money right now. For instance, what if you had been investing for your retirement, but your investments weren't paying off very much right now, they weren't growing for one reason or another, then you should try to reposition yourself a little bit or do something about that, Taurus. So a review of your financial assets and also of just your budget. If there's any costs you can cut down right now and even save a little bit more money, then you would have more for your goals next year. And that's, I think, what you need to do. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when there aren't any planets in, there is one planet in an air sign, and it's the moon in Libra, and it's trining your sun. So that simply means, Gemini, that you could actually get pretty lucky right now. Now that moon is under duress. That aggressive Mars in Aries is opposing it, and the planets in Capricorn are squaring it. But by itself, it represents a very nice person or somebody with a lot of legal authority or legal knowledge that can be a great friend to you right now, Gemini, or can give you some really good advice. Or there is the possibility, even though that moon in Libra is being challenged right now, there is the possibility that there could be a favorable legal decision for you right now. And so that's the good news. The other news, though, is that you need to prepare yourself for change, Gemini. Your sign rules change anyway. But the Sun and Mercury, your own ruler, are in Sagittarius today. They're being trined beautifully by Aries. They have a lot of get up and go, but they oppose your Sun, Gemini. And Neptune in Pisces is squaring your Sun. Now, these planets are all direct right now, which means that a lot of truth is going to come out about secrets behind the scenes. And you may be somewhat disillusioned to find out that not everyone is your friend, even if they were pretending to be. And so you need to be a little bit careful and step back in some of your relationships and think a little bit more about just what's good for you and not for everybody else at the moment. And also take advantage of a nice person coming into your life that may have very good legal advice, or somebody who could be a good partner for you. If you meet them, hang on to them, Gemini. You may need them in the future. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. You're rather lucky in one respect, and it is that Venus is in Scorpio, trining your Sun, and Neptune in Pisces is also trining your Sun. That means that despite the troubles and the worries that you might have right now, Cancer, because you know yours is a cardinal sign and there are 5 planets in cardinal signs, all harshly aspecting each other, and they're all dumping their anguish into your sign. So the moon in Libra is squaring your Sun, and the moon is your own ruler, so that's not too good. Mars in Aries, which is sort of on a tear right now, is also squaring your Sun. And Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn in Capricorn are opposing your Sun. So there is change at a higher level. And it can be in policies, or it can be in budgets, changes in budgets of large corporations or government agencies that don't favor you, Cancer. But on on the other hand, you could just stay home and have a rather nice Christmas right now, because I think there is some more money coming your way, Cancer. That Venus in Scorpio means there's either increased credit that could be offered to you, or there could be more money coming your way, and you could enjoy that over Christmas. And then you will be enlightened by the information you learn about secrets behind the scenes. And you may even feel that you knew it already, but now you'll get it confirmed. So it's not all bad news, but if I were you, I would withdraw a little bit and just enjoy your holidays right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is wonderful for you, Leo. Oh boy, you could be thinking that you're really ready to start your engines. And the reason why is because that Mars in Aries is trining your sun, and so are the Sun and Mercury in Sagittarius. And this week, those aspects are a precursor to the solar eclipse that's coming up next week. It'll be next Monday. And so that's going to trine your sun. And today, these 3 planets are trining your sun. And what I think is going to be helping you start your engines, Leo, is that there can be something that appeals a great deal to you. You may not decide whether you want to do it or not, even though people can be really wanting to begin something right now. You may have to wait a little bit on that, but you could get an enticing offer that would have more to do with what Sagittarius rules than what Aries rules, or even more to do with that than what your sign rules. There are no planets in your sign. And Sagittarius, remember, rules long distance travel, and it rules higher education and the courts and international organizations. And so I think if there is the possibility, Leo, of you being able to increase your education in one way or another, either through a training program or a certificate program or going on for an advanced degree, there is the possibility that that could begin. It doesn't mean it would have to get finished very quickly. I mean, what if it took you years to finish? That does not matter, Leo. What matters is that you prepare yourself for a better work environment, or a better career, or some promotion right where you are already. As long as people know you're preparing yourself, that can open up a world of possibilities for you that have to do with enlarging your sphere of influence where you are right now. But it can also benefit your loved ones. It can mean a lot to the activities that you're interested in. There may be some offer coming along. There could even be somebody that offers to pay for your education, just so that in other words, they would like you very much, and they may be involved in your work area, and they may think that you're a good candidate for further education, even if it's at a slow pace, in addition to your job, because they've got their eye on you for something better down the road. So you should think about that, Leo, because that is really possible right now. You are looking good to a lot of people. So start your engines. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when you can be sort of wrapping a few things up, or you can be taking a little pause and taking stock of the different things that you've been doing this year. We're nearing the end of the year anyway, and you may be thinking to yourself, well, everybody else may want to begin something, but what I want to do is sort of tie things up or make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. And so you could be summing up your activities this year. You could be quite pleased with them. But at the same time, you, just like Taurus, should begin to investigate your financial income in any way, either through your investments or through your job or through some pension plan, and just see if they are up to par. Because 2021 is going to be a year of financial instability, and there will be tremendous gridlock the whole year. People will have to have a plan A and a plan B to get through 2021. And so you just need to take stock of how you can best prepare yourself for next year, Virgo, and that means take a time out right now. And that's because Uranus and Taurus is still trining your sun, and the 3 planets in Capricorn, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, are still trining your sun, and that Saturn is at 29 degrees, and it means business. And that's where you should be thinking of. You know, if you've got any business dealings at all, you really need to address them and make sure that they're going the way that can be most profitable for you. And if it's not, then you have to be thinking about how to make changes. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, the moon in your sign is taking a beating right now, Libra, and oh, that would not please you at all. That means you could have a few hurt feelings around, particularly from people who do not have your best interests in mind, Libra. That can be hard to swallow because Mars in Aries is opposing the moon in your sign, and you have to put up with people who have their minds on their own interests and are not thinking of you at all, because Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn are squaring that moon in your sign. So I would say that you might feel like the Lone Ranger right now, Libra, like nobody understands you or maybe nobody cares about you. But that's not true. And also, Libra, this would be an absolutely terrible time to give up on anything. Don't do it. And the reason why is that Saturn and Jupiter, a wonderful planet and the ruler of Sagittarius, by the way, are both going to move into Aquarius in just the next week or 10 days, and they're going to stay there. And they will be trining your sun when that happens. You are looking at a much better year next year than you can possibly imagine, probably because you have not had the best year this year. But it's really going to get a lot better next year, and you're going to get a lot stronger. And so this is a time when, don't feel sorry for yourself, Libra. Think positive. Start your engines, and your engine should be starting about January 1, 2021. In other words, you could take between now and then and just relax and tune out the world and plan for better things the next year, because they will be coming your way. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, there is a question about who's going to pay for what, or where's the money going to come from. And the reason why there can be that uncertainty financially is because Venus in your sign, which can make you very loving right now, Scorpio, it also means you're a candidate for having more money come your way, is opposing Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is a planet of sudden, surprising change and volatility, and it is in a fixed financial sign that is losing a little support. In other words, it's been beautifully supported by 3 planets in Capricorn this year, but 2 of those planets, Jupiter and Saturn, are going to be moving out of Capricorn. And so it's going to be a little different story next year. We'll still have support from Pluto. And so it's going to move into Aquarius, and that is going to then square your sun sign, Scorpio, and it's going to square Uranus in Taurus. And that is going to, just by itself, there's more to come, but it will set up gridlock, particularly financial gridlock. And that is why, Scorpio, you may not have too many financial problems at the moment, but you need to look around and see where you can lay your hands on some money, or ask yourself if your money is wisely invested and giving you enough of a return, the kind of return you want. All the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, need to sit down between now and January 1 and really look at their financial picture, because it's going to hit gridlock next year, and we're all going to have to find a way through that, but particularly the fixed signs. So enjoy any money that is coming your way, Scorpio, but if I were you, I would look things over and plan ahead just for safety. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, the solar eclipse is coming up in your sign next Monday. And for right now, I bet you do feel supercharged, Sagittarius, as if you want to start your engines, because that Mars in Aries is trining your sun are trining the sun in your sign exactly. They're both at 19 degrees, and Mercury is in your sign as well, and they're all trining the sign of Leo. So I think that you really should think seriously, not about what your third or fourth or fifth choice is in life, but aim higher, Sagittarius. What's the number one thing that's most important to you? Go for that. You've got a solar eclipse coming up that's going to back you up on that next week. And there's 2 other eclipses in your sign next year. So this is when you have to aim high and think long term, and think that you may be getting an opportunity soon, or sometime even next year, to expand your life and your vision and really make a difference in the world. And you need to think about how to do that now so that you can be well prepared for change, because it's coming, but it could be coming for the greater good. And you could be involved in that. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Capricorn. Oh, you can feel, one, that you may have had a pretty good year. And when I say a good year, what I mean is you could have been paying much more attention to whatever it is that you produce. In other words, you could have been working hard on your job. As each challenge came your way, you would have had enough strength and fortitude to be able to meet that challenge and still advance further. It may not have always been fun, but Saturn, your own ruler, has been in your sign all year, and Saturn is not a planet of fun. It's a planet of work, but it brings rewards, long-term rewards. You may be seeing the rewards soon, right now, this month, for how hard you've been working this year, Capricorn. So as planets leave your sign now, you may be breathing a sigh of relief and saying, oh, I'm glad that's all over. Maybe things can slow down a little bit, because Jupiter and Saturn are about to leave your sign. Pluto will stay there until 2025, which means you could become much more powerful between now and 2025 if you really concentrate on it. But still, if you just rested throughout the Christmas holiday as these planets move on, that would be good for you, Capricorn. You have earned a little rest this year. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, get ready for change. Remember, this is a time when it begins, and in a very broad sense, worldwide, the fact that vaccines are coming onto the market that may reduce this pandemic is wonderful. I mean, that's a big it, isn't it? It doesn't mean that everyone's going to take the same thing, or it doesn't mean that everyone's going to react the same way. But oh boy, doesn't it look hopeful. And so, Aquarius, there can now be, after a year of delays and disappointments, which could describe all of 2020, there can be a time now for you to think a lot about the future. And your sign rules the future, Aquarius. You have to think very carefully about the future, because your ruler, Uranus, is in Taurus, where it will stay for years, and it is going to be continually squaring your sun sign. But your sun sign is going to have a lot of backup real quick. Jupiter and Saturn are coming into your sun sign, and you may want to do something for the greater good, and it could mean that you would have to take on a serious responsibility. Really serious. I mean, it's sort of like you got to grow up, and that's going to be okay for you, Aquarius. No matter how hard you work in the next couple of years, it's going to be worth it. It could bring you rewards for the rest of your life. So you need to start planning that way. How can you be more effective? How can you do something more rewarding? Because that is coming right up. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you certainly could be benefiting from a little more money coming your way, and you could probably use it at this holiday time, can't you, Pisces? And that's because Venus in Scorpio is trining your sun sign where you have Neptune. So little by little, the truth is sort of coming out, or you're certainly able to face the truth. What would your truth be about? It may be about some of the choices that you had made in the past. and you're able to sort of step back and look at your choices, and maybe you can see where some of them weren't too good. Maybe you could learn from that, and then you could be thinking about choices that you want to make in the future. And it could also involve the choice of your friends, and your occupation, and your education, and any relationships you have. So this is a good time for you to sort of quietly understand that there's a certain kind of justice going on right now. And that justice has to do with how can we live up to our highest ideals? How can we do what's best for everybody? And I think that we're sort of getting a second chance at life now that the vaccines are coming out. And so that's worldwide. So it's a good time for all of us to think that, okay, we can start over. And it begins right about now. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.